chair, come and get your favourite seat round the table. I wouldn't worry too much about your slippers today. If I were you, I would fling off your bra and put on a vest top and let your arms out regardless of what you normally think, because it is too hot, too hot. How are you? Are you well? It is Wednesday the 20-something of July, and I missed a couple of weeks, didn't I? I missed last fortnight, so apologies for that. Have you grabbed yourself a drink? Let's have a nice catch up, shall we? Are you still drinking tea or coffee in this weather? I've got my Christmas mug filled with Pepsi Max. There might be a cheeky gin in a tin in the fridge if you go and have a look. Go get one. I say all this, I don't drink alcohol at all, but I do always say I'm going to have a cheeky gin in a tin. Has a better ring to it than I'm going to get a Pepsi Max, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome. For anybody new here, I'm Kelly, and I'm the dyer behind Layfamilyyarn that I do with my husband Nick and daughter Megan. And you're so very welcome. It's lovely to have you back here around our table, either the table at home or our table here at the work studio. You are most very welcome. So I missed last fortnight. I was doing well, wasn't I? I was doing really well, but yeah, I was a bit under weather. I developed a really nasty cold sore on my tongue, and it got infected, and oh gosh, it was so painful. And every time I spoke, it caught on my tooth, and oh, the pain. So I was talking with, I still hear a slight lisp in my voice, in my talk. Other people say they can't hear it anymore, but I still can a little bit. But it took a good couple of weeks for the swelling in my tongue to go down and to get back to normal. And then last week, poor Jeff was poorly, bless him. We had a heat wave here in the UK. And I know that's all very subjective because our heat wave is normal for a lot of countries, isn't it? But, you know, it's not normal for us, and we don't do too well with it, generally speaking. And Jeff certainly didn't. We walked at about 5:30 in the morning, which was lovely. And then we didn't go out for a walk again till 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night before bed, which is really unusual for us. The poor thing. He just laid with cooling mats on him and under him. But bless him, on one of our walks, I remember the walk, it was on the Monday morning, and we'd gone through the woods about 6 in the morning, and oh gosh, the grass seeds at the minute, if any of you have got dogs, you only have to brush past them, don't they, and their coats are covered in these grass seeds. And that's what had happened with Jeff, and I'm fastidious about picking them out. I can't bear them. They honestly have the same effect on me that headlights in children's hair. I cannot bear these grass seeds. So I get them out as soon as I see them, and oh, they make me shudder. It's ridiculous because they're just seeds, but they truly bother me. So that was on the Monday morning. And we didn't go through the woods the rest of the week because there was too many brambles and stingy nettles. But a couple of days later, he had a bit of ooze in his eye at bedtime. That was on the Wednesday. On the Thursday morning, he couldn't open his eye. It was all swollen and red raw, poor thing. So we went to the vets and he'd got quite a bad conjunctivitis caused by a grass seed. Thankfully it hadn't scratched it. It scratched his eye a little bit, but it hadn't damaged his cornea or anything. So yeah, he just had to have lots of drops. He's just here on his chair. Lots of drops and lots of cleaning and lots of TLC. My poor boy. But yeah, it was horrible week really for both of us. Yeah, but we're okay now. We're back and we're better. And we have been enjoying some nice walks this week. We've got a little family bolt hole not far from where we are. And we've been going over there with my mum and dad this last week. And we've been having some lovely walks on the river. Oh, it's been lovely and so cooling and refreshing. It's well, it wasn't the one day. I'll pop a video at the end. The one day Nick and I were there on our own sorting out some bits, and the cows were in the field and they were coming down the bank into the river, and they were all just sort of milling around in the river where it was cool. And this one cow came running down and she was like, get out of the way, let me in. And I thought that would be entirely me. It'd be like, Shropshire's Premier Vlogger is coming through. Do you not know who I am? Step aside, cow. Step aside. Let me into that river. I could just hear her in my head. Do you not know who I am? She was saying. Move, move. But oh gosh, I felt her. I really felt her that day. It was so incredibly hot and humid. We're not used to humidity, are we here? But anyway, I'll pop that on the end for you. It was lovely. It was nice. I finished the rainbow bag. No, I'm talking about rainbow bags. I've got a couple here to show you. Don't mean that. I finished the bag I was making for one of you. Thank you so much for all your kind comments last week. I have finished the bag. But I haven't figured out how to do the drawer. So I'm going to reach out to a couple of friends, Sharon and Jooles. I'm thinking of you ladies, how to do the comment picker thing on YouTube. If I can't figure it out, I'll just do it manually. You know, I'll just pop names in an old-fashioned hat and draw them that way. It's absolutely fine. So I'll do that next week, well, not next week, next fortnight. I'll do that then, draw the winner and get that sent off to you. Thank you so much for all the comments on that last episode with my bag. Such an honour that you would want one of my bags. I say my bags, I don't sell them, just a bag that I made, you know, a dodgy bag, as our Ali from This Wonderful Life and Little Drops of Wonderful would say. It truly is dodgy. But I hope whoever receives it will enjoy it. It was made with love and with thought in every stitch, so that's all that matters, isn't it? Speaking of bags though, I've been sent some lovely bags as prizes for the Rainbow Chronicles, so I thought I'd share them with you. This bag's from lovely Ellen. I'm never entirely sure how to say your name, Ellen. Kalok Shek Ellen is her business name, and she dyes yarn and she makes project bags and she has enamel pins, and she's a lovely lady. We first met at Perth Festival of Yarn a couple of years ago, and we were opposite one another on the stand, and we didn't get to chat as much as I would like in hindsight, because you never do at these things, you know, you're generally so busy. So yeah, we didn't get to chat too much, but we connected and swapped, you know, details and things, and we've stayed in touch on Instagram. And Ellen kindly reached out and offered to make us a rainbow bag for one of the Rainbow Sock Chronicle prizes. And it's lovely. It's as you can see, like a tote bag, but it's also got a drawstring lining. It's beautiful, beautifully made. Lovely. And Ellen kindly put in one of her pin badges for us. How lovely is that? Mrs. Lamb Yarns. So yeah, that's one of the prizes for this next Rainbow Sock Chronicles. And then another bag I had, this has got some crinkling, but I'm not going to take it out of this packaging because it's so lovely. It's from dear Jill at Bertie and Poppet. I saw BP and thought of Busy Pottering, another friend of mine, Anne, who used to make bags but no longer does. So this is Jill from Busy Pottering. Oh, from Bertie and Poppet. There's her card. Don't listen to me, look at her card. And she's put in some stitch markers and progress keepers there as well, which is so kind. Thank you, Jill. Jill and I first met some years ago. I organised the Midlands monthly meetup, and we used to meet in Nottingham once a month. Yeah, it was brilliant. There was quite a lot of us there. Tracy went from Thimble and Thread Makes. Tracy from Nora George went a few times. And then so many people. I met Jill and Ellie, Caroline, Helen, so many people. We had such a lovely time. I stopped going. I was unable to continue going, but the group continued for a long time. I guess it only stopped really because of the pandemic. So I must ask actually if they're going to restart, and I'll let you know about that, because it was such a warm and welcoming and lovely group. It really was. I've started to do something similar again here now in the courtyard. Out here in the courtyard, every second Saturday we meet. There's a group of us meet, and it's very casual. It's nothing to do with Layfamilyyarn really. It's just a place to meet, and we have lunch, or you can bring a picnic, and yeah, it's lovely, really good fun. So there's a couple of prizes for the next Rainbow Sock Chronicles. Can't believe the Rainbows is coming to an end, you know. It's not, I guess it's not to you guys. You're probably only on, well, July, month 7. But for us, we die a couple of months ahead, don't we? So we're dying now, October. So for us, the end is most definitely in sight. There's all people in the courtyard. I feel quite aware. Yeah, so as the Rainbows ends, but we have finalised and firmed up all our plans for next year's clubs now, which I'm really excited about. One will be a mystery club, and one will be much like the Rainbows, where we'll show you ahead of time what you will be purchasing if you choose to. I had to stop the video there because I thought there was people coming in, but there's not. There's across the courtyard there, one of our neighbours is Simon. He's an artist, and he has some groups come for painting lessons. So anyway, shall we have a little chatter about some knitting? I have done some knitting in the months since we spoke. I had a week where I was incredibly productive and did quite a lot of things. And then this last week I haven't done any, just because I've been so busy organising and planning and doing other things, like live things. Yeah. So let's show you what I finished. I have finished my Foxglove socks. These are a pattern by Jooles Hill of So Sweet Violet, and I was fortunate enough to test knit them for her. and I used our August 20-gram mini skein bundle in these 5 shades of lavenders and lilac, but mostly lavender. The pattern doesn't call for fading. It's and there's no instruction for that in there, but yeah, I just wanted to have a go. So I did, it's a toe up pattern, so I did the toe in colour 1, and then I did a foxglove repeat, if you like, in colour 1, and then I did 2 foxglove repeats where I striped colour 1 and colour 2 alternating. Then I did 2 foxgloves of colour 2, and then 2 foxgloves alternating 2 and 3, and so on and so forth. And then for the second sock, I flipped the colours round. So I used the darker colour for the toe and the lighter for the cuff. And I really, really like them. See if I can hold them so you can see both together. I really think that's effective to see the two. So they're most definitely a pair, but yeah, I've just flipped them. I think it was really effective. I'm so pleased with them. They're for my August box of socks. Now I haven't finished my July. I haven't started my July yet, but I finished my August. But because I did them as a test knit for Jooles, they were, I focused on the one sock and got that finished. I think I used a 2.5mm needle, which I always do. It might not be what the pattern suggests, I can't remember, but I just know that that's what works for me. And it's a lovely pattern. It's so intuitive. Once I'd done a couple of the little foxgloves, I didn't use the pattern at all. It's an 8-row repeat, but it was so memorisable. I really, really enjoy those. I want to do some more, but and I thought she'll fade again. I really enjoyed that technique. Yeah, I've woven my ends in as well and everything. I'm a good girl. The other socks I finished were, again, another pattern by Jooles, because again I was lucky enough to test knit this for her, and it was the Flossy socks. I think Jooles calls her daughter Bryony Flossie, little nickname. I've got 2 of those, they've been washed and blocked. I love this colour. The 3 ships in, it's part of our Squiddle Village collection, and the 3 ships in is the pub in the village square where all the comings and goings happen and all the gossip. And I just used a random pick and mix mini off there. If ever you want us to do that for you, we're always able to. We don't always have sock sets in the shop, but if ever you want a pick and mix mini just to complement a skein, always feel free to reach out to us. So yeah, that's the Flossy socks. It's twisted stitches, it's not a cable, and they run either side of the foot. As you can see there. It's lovely. Again, a really intuitive, memorisable pattern. I like that with a sock. These are my favourite types of sock, you know, where they just have a little bit of interest on the side, but nothing too elaborate. That I can memorise the pattern and I can just, you know, almost treat it as a plain vanilla sock. They're my only 2 finished things this time, but I'm so chuffed to get them done. Because I say I did them as test knits, I whizzed the first sock because I always want to be committed to getting that done for the designer. But then often the second sock sits by the wayside. But actually it worked quite well because I just acknowledge that. I do the first sock and then I just put it away, which is what I did with Flossie, and then I did the foxglove sock and then I went back and knit the second sock of each. So quite quickly then I ended up with 2 new pairs. So that works for me. In my Rainbow Chronicles sock box, I am missing May, green, and July, turquoise. So I'm going to start the greens next. I'm going to use this yarn, which was a lovely gift from my darling friend Emily from Meanwhile at the Castle. Now Emily had it wound much more beautifully than this, but I've had it out and just popped it back quite crudely. It's lovely. Emily is the Ironbridge. It's her yarn dyeing business. And the Ironbridge is a play on words of library, and its yarns are all inspired of favourite books and stories. This is Winter in the Big Woods sock set. I think that's a Laura Ingalls Wilder book, isn't it? The Big Woods. I haven't read any of those books, you know. I must. Emily's yarns are on the yarnbrary.com. Lovely. I think those colours are just going to match in with the sort of tones of my box of socks. You can see now. See, those colours are just going to match in lovely, aren't they? So I'm going to wind, I've brought that to work today to wind up so I can get that ready. There's nothing nicer than starting a fresh new pair of socks, is there? I love it. Although I don't particularly enjoy doing the initial cast on and the first few rows of the cuff. I find that a bit I don't know what the word is, because it's not difficult. It just is not my favourite. Getting going isn't my favourite. Once I'm going, I'm away. But yeah, starting it and getting those first few rounds done isn't necessarily my favourite thing. I'm not sure what pattern I'm going to do. I may do the Prairie Socks by Kay of the Bakery Bears. I've knit that pattern 3 or 4 times, and I've also got the hat, which is here somewhere. I can't see it. It is here, unless I stole it last autumn and took it home. So I might do the Prairie Socks. I think those colours will lend themselves. And also the reference to the name being a Laura Ingalls Wilder. So I think that was part of the inspiration for Kay's pattern, because she adores those books and TV series. So yeah, I think I might do the Prairie Socks this time. That's a bit of dream knitting. Well, not dream, I'm going to cast it on this week for sure. I've also been working on a new project you haven't seen. Here in the shop, it can get, in the winter, it can get quite cool. I've got heaters and things, but you know, if I'm sat around doing accounts or paperwork and things, your hands get really cold, don't they? So I thought I'd knit myself some new fingerless mittens. I haven't made any fingerless mitts for a good while. And I have a t-shirt. I was at work. I was filming a video actually for our Patreon channel. And we were talking about colourway names and where inspiration comes from, and how names develop sometimes with the use of a physical mind map. So I was filming that video and I had on a t-shirt that was navy blue. Everything I have seems to have some sort of rainbow motif or stripe on it lately. And this t-shirt was navy blue, and across the chest is a stripe of yellow, peach, coral pink, blue and green. And I loved it. And I as I was filming, I could see myself, and these colours really stood out to me. So again, I went to the pick and mix wall and tried to match them up. And I thought I was going to do socks. That's always my first thought process. And then I thought, no, I'll do some fingerless mitts. And I'll have them for here at work in the autumn when I'm walking Jeff on those cooler mornings. So they're the mini skeins I chose, the pick and mix minis. I've got the little tags in my bag here, so if anybody wanted the numbers I could let you know. And for the blue I used this blue, which is like a really deep denim, midnight we call it. I followed the pattern, or rather I followed the numbers of the pattern by Laura Bayliss, the Lonely Sock Lady. No, Lonely Knitter. I was thinking of Crazy Sock Lady now, wasn't I? The Lonely Knitter, Laura. She has a lovely pattern called Show Us Your Scraps. And yeah, you can use little bits of scrap yarn or you can do whatever you want. But I just used the numbers from there and I didn't put in any of the texture. I've knit it quite long because I like it to cover my wrist. There it is. I'm really pleased with it. So I did 15 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff. And then I just did 5 rounds of each colour, striped up to the thumb gusset. Did the thumb gusset in the hand, and then I just did 7 rows 2x2 for the cuff at the top. I love them, and they're just long enough, like you say, if I put my jumper down, my wrists are lovely and warm. I think if your wrists are warm and that part of your hand, you just feel warmer in general, don't you? But I know come the autumn and when I'm here at work, if I'm typing or I say doing accounts or anything like that, or just winding yarn, having my wrists and my hands covered there, but with my fingers out, it's just perfect for me. I love them. Oh, they're nearly the same as this one as well. I've used a new technique for doing the ends. New to me, not new. Some of you I know will know this and have done it many times. But I used the technique by Stephen West, the Weaving Stephen technique. And you weave your ends in as you go. Which I've done there. These just need snipping now. So they're all woven in. And it was brilliant. It's on Stephen's YouTube channel. But yeah, brilliant technique. I shall definitely use that for scrappy socks again in the future. Just have to be a little bit mindful of that first stitch. See if I can show you. Yeah, can you see there? I've just got a little hole on that blue. But I think if I just pull that first stitch a bit tighter, that'll close that gap, no problem. I've not done that technique before, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I haven't cast on my second mitten yet, but I will. I'll do that tonight. Oh, I did a sewn bind off as well. I didn't want to do... Oh, somebody coming in. Gosh, that really put me off. There was somebody at the door. It's just to my right there, and there was somebody at the window watching me. I'm going to have to do this earlier in the day next time and keep the door shut. Yes, I did a sewn bind off. I've been doing that a lot recently in sock projects and mittens, and it just gives a nice stretch. But it doesn't flare out at all. It's lovely. I'd highly recommend that bind off if you haven't used it before. These are all living in a lovely project bag by a lovely maker called Olivia. Her business name is called Grace by Olivia, and she's a maker that lives in Shropshire, same county as us, not far away. And she reached out to us recently to see if we wanted to work with her and stock some of her projects bags and needle cases. So we have, and oh, they're truly lovely. She's such an amazing artist. These have got a velvet, crushed velvet bottom and a linen top. And Olivia carves these stamps by hand herself and then hand stamps them. The work that goes into them is lovely. And then the larger bags have a lavender bag. Olivia's family live on a property with a huge lavender field. This is grown on her family home. Oh, it's lovely. Put that away. The only other project I've brought to talk to you about, well, I've got two, but we'll see about the other one, is my Santa socks. Thank you so much for everybody that left comments and suggestions on the last episode about how to overcome that cuff. It was trial and error. I have now sussed it out. I tried various ways. I think I ripped the boucle out 4 times. But I'm more than happy to do that because I wanted these socks to be perfect, or as perfect as I could make them. I'll get your sock blocker. I'm going to show them you today because I know a lot of you have asked me on Instagram and how I'm getting on with them and how they're working out. So I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to talk too much about the details because Jooles is going to be releasing this as a pattern. And the reason I reached out to Jooles and suggested she might want to, the reason being, I can take no credit for this. It's not my design. It's not my pattern numbers. It wasn't even my inspiration. I think it might have even been 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3. Jooles made a pair of socks similar to this in a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, and she did a boucle top, and I think she folded it, if I'm right. Maybe not, but I always remember this sock with this furry boucle top, and that was what inspired me. And I just blatantly copied her, but I wanted to do mine in DK. So I reached out to Jooles and said, do you have a DK pattern for a toe-up sock that I can just use the structure of for the numbers? And she very kindly sent me the bare bones of a design that she's working on, purely for the numbers. So as I say, I've used Jooles as inspiration. I copied her. I've used a yet to release pattern, details, numbers for the guidance. And then all I did was figure out the neatest way for me to attach and sort out the boucle. So no credit for this should go to me. It should absolutely all go to Jooles. So when I said to her, I sent her a video and I said, oh my goodness, I adore this sock so much. You really should make it a pattern. And she was like, oh yeah, but I said, no, it's all you. You've done all this work. All I've done is test knit it for you. So that's what we're going to do. I say we, she's going to do. I will dye some yarn kits for it if you want to make a pair. How cute is that? I'm so pleased. I love how neat it is at the top. I love it. So I'm not going to tell you just yet about all the different variations and adaptations and techniques I used to get this top as neat as I was able, because yeah, I'm going to work with Jooles on that first. But I did want to show you and thank you for all your suggestions, and actually I've used a variety of your suggestions in this. I've started the second sock, we've barely got a toe. That's it. But it's a DK sock, it won't take long. We're going away for a couple of days next week, so I shall take this with me then. So yeah, I'm so pleased with it. And yeah, we will be dyeing, in fact Megan's dyeing them today, some kits. We're going to have the DK yarn and some boot clay as a mini of boot clay. So if you wanted to make some of these socks. Do you know what else I thought as well, before I popped it on the sock blocker? You know, Megan and I are making each other an advent calendar this year. How cute would that look if I stuck an I-cord on there and just hung that up as an advent bag? You know, so I could pop in a mascara and a bit of chocolate, but not have 24, just have this one each. I might even duplicate stitch an M on it and just have that hanging up as an advent stocking. I think that'd be really cute. I'm so pleased with it. She hasn't seen it, she's got no idea. I hope she never watches these podcasts, so it would be sod's law if she watched this one, wouldn't it? I don't need them on my blockers now, they can go away in my drawer. I've done a little bit of sewing. As I say, I've made the bag for one of you, and I have cut out some fabric to make some placemats for Mum for Christmas. I haven't started the quilting of them yet, but it's all cut out. And I've also been joining in with the night, I think it's called the Night Before Christmas Make Along. I think it's finished now, to make a hexagon Christmas stocking. Now I've done all my hexagons, I haven't started sewing them together yet, but when I get a little bit further on I will share that with you. But right now it's just a stack of hexagons. Such a lovely boy. Oh, you all know how much I love Jeff. I just can't believe how my dog can enrich my life so much, and I love him so much. Bless him. Honestly, it's the best thing that's happened to us not for a long time, but you know, the way he enriches our life and he brings so much to our lives. A true blessing is a dog. I've never felt that with a dog or a pet before until I had Jeff. So he truly is a gift for me. I'm going to stop waffling. Look. They're here. These mugs are from Natalie of Remembrance's Pottery. Excuse me. Yeah. And they're here. I've had them shipped all the way from Canada. And they arrived last week. They're not on the website yet. I will announce on Instagram when I get them put on the website. But they're here at HQ. So excited. Anyway, I think that's all for me this time. Might be a little bit shorter. But we'll be back in 2 weeks again. We're going to keep to that schedule. It's working really well for me. It just happened so much that last time I was a bit under weather and my mouth was so sore. I couldn't speak for any length of time really. And then, yeah, there we are. Such is life, hey? I'm going to leave a little video at the end here for you. We've started a Patreon channel, which is just going so well, and thank you to everybody that's joining us there. Your support on that channel has enabled me to buy a new camera, a little camera, so that I can do better videos when we're out walking and filming outside and that sort of thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's without those Patreon people, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do some of these things. So huge thank you to you all. And we've had a really good first month. We've visited an abbey, we've visited Gatcombe Candle Company, where Megan and I made some amazing candles, and we've got some samples. We've had a weekly catch-up video, and we've been dyeing yarn in the studio together. So I've put a little taster, if you will, at the end of this video here, if that interests you, and you might want to join us over on Patreon. And if you do, you'd be so very welcome. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Just gives you a little taster of what we do over there. Anyway, thank you for your company. Thank you for joining me for a chatter, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.